can't really believe that the guinea fowl come back every night. So we let them out and they can go wherever they want. But about 4 o'clock they all wait to go back. You'd think that they'd go off into a tree or I don't know.
They know they're getting fed here, is that what it is?
So in here we've got our 2 red river hogs, which are the ones that are just coming up now. So I did bring them 2 apples each for you to throw in. So you can put the wheelbarrow down.
Oh yeah.
Pigs!
Yeah.
Big. Big.
Go on, you have them all.
You want one?
No, you're fine. I'll concentrate on being cameraman for this one. That sounds just like my doorbell.
So you've got Ikundu, which is the one at the front, and Mitu at the back. And there are 2 brothers that are, I think they... See, I'm rubbish at their ages because when they come as an age, that sticks in your head and then you can never really remember. I'm pretty sure they're either coming up to 5 or they are 5. And they're from the same litter, but if you look at this one at the front, how big his muzzle is up to the other one, you'd think that they'd be exactly the same size, shape and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But because the one at the front is more dominant, he's got more testosterone in his blood, he's a bit more kind of in your face. He's grown that much more bigger muzzle than his little brother has, which is a bit more subordinate. So in the wild, the one at the front would probably get bigger a lot quicker, find some girlfriends. The other one would probably be on the outskirts of a group much more than a dominant male, which isn't very nice for him. But it's just interesting to see that even though there's no females, there's nobody else, there's just 2 of them, that still happens because there is a dominant one and a less dominant one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And they love eating all day, every day.
Yeah.
There are bins, so if we get something donated that's, I don't know, nothing else can eat, they love it. We've got a lot of pumpkins in the last couple of weeks.
Time of the season.
Yeah. So the original idea was to mix the Red River hogs with the zebra and eland and the giraffes all together. We found that the Red River hogs get on fine with the giraffe, so actually we can mix them together. These go in the house, they dig around in the sand, they have the best time ever. But we found with the zebras are not very nice. They love chasing them round, they bully them.
Live around that one lake in Madagascar and they live in the reeds, so they never actually touch solid ground in the wild. But here obviously we are a lake, so and they are a type of bamboo lemur, so they spend a lot of time eating bamboo in the wild. And we do try and give them as much bamboo as we can here. But obviously at certain times of year there's a kind of shortage. Yeah, I tried to put some in that bowl yesterday and they just pulled it all out and shoved it all in. Lazy. Yeah. Yeah, so they are a breeding pair. The one closest to us is the male, that's Roa, and the one at the back is the female. And she's called Tiana. And we're hoping for some babies. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens, really.
They're very suspicious, aren't they?
They're a bit wary, these ones. They do generally kind of hang back a little bit.
Yeah.
And they've not been here that long, really. They've only been here, I think they came at the start of the year, so they're still settling in a little bit, really. What we got? Come on then. So yeah, 1 piece each. If you hold, one end, she will take it nice and gently from you. Good boy. So.
Bless them. Look at them. They've got little dog faces, haven't they?
Yeah. So this is a little family. So mum is this one on your left. That's Ihosi. Dad's the one on the end there. That's Hebus. And then we got the 2 little boys. Andre's on the bench and Eric is on the stump behind you.
That's Eric there. He was back to us.
Yes. But these guys can have quite a lot of babies in one go. They can have anywhere up to kind of 4 or 5. Because they leave them in a nest in the trees in the wild. But they have something like a 70% mortality rate because the babies fall out of the nest.
Oh no.
So it doesn't seem to be a particularly effective strategy, but that's why they have so many at a time, I think.
The nest don't have any predators? Birds of prey?
Yes, but the parents will disguise them and kind of it's safer to leave them somewhere kind of safe and snug than it is to take them out through the canopy. And also, obviously, these guys, they move so far and so wide and things that if you had 6 babies hanging off you whilst you're trying to climb through the trees, you would really struggle.
Yeah.
So whereas like the ringtails that are down the other end will only have 2 at the most, and it's quite rare in the wild for them to have twins because they do carry them everywhere they go. So it's kind of just a different strategy of doing things, really.
Yeah. What's this pumpkin they're eating?
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato? Oh, okay.
Sweet potato is a lemur's absolute favourite. They will do almost anything for a bit of sweet potato.
Awesome. It's nice and healthy.
Yes. Yeah, so lemurs generally used to be fed a lot of fruit in captivity, because they do eat quite a lot of fruit in the wild, but obviously all the fruit that's grown here is that much sweeter than anything you'd ever get naturally growing.
Yeah.
Then if you are to give it to them all day, every day, it's the same as us having sweets for 3 meals a day, really. They get problems with their teeth and all sorts of stuff. So
right. So it's more of a treat for them.
So yeah, so if they ever have fruit, it's normally if we need to get them to take medicine that they don't really want to take,
right.
more than anything. Isn't it? But Hebus and Ohosey came from French zoos where they did have some fruit in their diet still. It wasn't wholly fruit, but some of it was. So when they first moved here, they were a bit put out, but they didn't get any.
No. Took a little time to adjust.
Yeah, they had to get used to it.
Bless them.
Don't you? But you have now.
Just feel like I want to pet them like a cat. I imagine they wouldn't like that.
No.
Oh, bless them.
But they, we obviously people come in here and everyone, instantly wants to touch them. You can see why, but they would not be a fan of that.
No.
Sadly.
Get close. You do that.
Very instinctive of humans, isn't it, to do that?
Yeah, it's very. It is. The reason you get so close in here is because they trust that you're not going to touch them, but it is something everyone wants to do.
Yeah, it's a funny part
to try
of
and kind of experience it, and
I guess we've just become so used to doing that to dogs and cats that we have domesticated more. So.
If you were the one feeding them, they'd let you scratch them behind the ear.
Yeah, I suppose if you're close enough to them.
One in Dudley Zoo did that.
You do see these.
You can. I mean, if you've hand-reared them and if you've trained them and they are used to being touched, then that is possible. But I mean, none of our lemurs. I mean, I don't touch them unless we're having to get them in a vet. Take them up to the vets or something. We don't really have any physical contact with them, so they're just not used to it.
And they have a hands-on thing, but they have a huge enclosure with members stop.
Oh,
He just go to the opposite end. And she was getting on my nerves because he was talking absolute nonsense about how we're just trees to lemurs, so they don't like climbers and stuff, and they like climbing trees. When you're talking about, they're just trying to...
Is he going to eat your phone?
A little sniff. That's what this is. Hey?
I'll tell you what it was. They were jumping all over other people. They were rummaging through people's hair, and I was getting jealous. So I thought, right, next time I'll bring a bag in, open top bag, and I'll put all kinds of carrots in the bottom. And fill it with clothes and stuff, and I'll carry that around with me. And then I'll smell the carrots and they'll be all over me. But then one of them stole a carrot and
was this in Dudley?
But yeah.
What?
But
so you got in trouble for that?
Yeah, I got in trouble for that. I did get a scratch.
At least you didn't steal a penguin.
I was going to say, yeah.
I've heard.
I've got a penguin in the bag.
I've heard some bad stories.
That was in Birdland.
Was it?
Supposed to do that either.
No, I don't think he was. I want to go on the phone. Oh, he's off.
Should we go and see the ringtails?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, this isn't for you now, guys. You've had some.
Yep. Sorry, dudes.
Wait a minute.
See you later.
You've had yours. This is for the ringtails now.
Right. Come on in. You got enough food? Ooh. That was
Okay,
magic.
Let me give you the bucket. So I want you to, kind of tip it all out over these stumps. There's the platform over there. You can put some on. We can bring bring some down and put some on the middle mand in here as well. Oh, hello. So yeah.
Ed.
Hello. I'm getting this. Tip it out, remember?
Yeah, so if you come and put some down, they'll back off a little bit. So on some of these stumps here, just watch your feet as well, because they will get right under your feet. So yeah, just pop it down on the stump there for them and they will come and take it. You want to get the green stuff out relatively quickly because they won't be interested in that at all. They want the sweet potato and stuff that's generally at the bottom of the bucket. Yeah? That's it. If you just put it down on the stumps for me rather than giving it to them, just because they will start to squabble over it otherwise. Yeah. Okay, and we can go and put some down this way as well. So we spread it around the enclosure just because there's a lot of them. A couple of them, like these two over here, these are much lower ranking, so they will stay away from the main group and then feeding. So we need to make sure there's lots of different places to go. So yeah, come over the rope, you can put some on that bit of rock there, or up on this platform here. So yeah, so just pop it down on the floor. Yes, I know, breakfast, isn't it? Yeah, the whole bucket. It can go. Yeah, so some a bit more down there, some up on this platform. Yeah. Perfect. I haven't got any today. I'm just going to use the bucket then. And then pop some on the, on the roof and on the bottom platform as well. That's it. Oh, there was no sweet potato in that bucket, was there?
Well, I hope I haven't learned the name sweet potato.
They are not going to be impressed. Can you just come back one step for me? Just come a little bit back from her. If you can, although there is a lever in your way, as always.
There's nothing in the bucket.
He'll want to have a check. He likes to check. Okay? He doesn't trust you, doesn't trust me. Do you want me to take the bucket off you so you've got more hands? Yeah, I don't trust any of us normally to...
Is this okay for him to take a few photos
yeah,
from him?
fine. Yeah, absolutely fine.
The lemurs are one of his favourites.
Yeah, take as many photos and videos and all the rest of it as you want.
Thank you.
Morning, guys. Morning. Oi. So the ones you've got in here, obviously you've got your ringtails. They're stripy tails, I'm sure you know what they all are anyway. But your mongoose lemurs are the two here, the one on the rope and the one sat on the tree support, and then at the back we've got two red-bellied lemurs as well.
Okay.
And the mongoose lemurs are mother and son. So the one that's on the rope there is Orcus, she's the mum, and then Rufus is the son sat on the tree support. And then where she's got white kind of fur on her face and he's got ginger fur on his, that's kind of standard for all males and all females, so you can always tell them apart nicely.
Oh, that's easy.
Sadly for me, the ringtails don't do that. All the boys and the girls look exactly the same. So yeah, you can struggle to tell who's who half the time.
Question I always mess up, the scent glands. The way they work is they rub them against stuff and
So
That's how they dominate.
yeah, so the red-bellied ones, so they've got scent glands.
Careful.
They've got scent glands on the top of their heads and at the base of their tail, which they rub on kind of all the branches and stuff as they move through the enclosure. And they do that mostly as to leave a scent trail, because in the wild they live in little groups and it's kind of a way of keeping track of who's who. In the ringtails, the males especially have got the scent glands on the insides of their wrists. So is that, yeah, Rakota's behind you, so he's got black dots on the inside of his wrist, which he rubs up and down his tail, and he might be about to scent on that tree now actually, and he'll put his scent into trees like he's doing there, and that is to kind of show his kind of dominance as a male, because the females are actually the dominant gender. And then when it comes to breeding season and he wants to woo the ladies, he'll make his tail smell, so he'll rub those scent glands up and down his tail, and then waft his tail towards the females to give them his scent. And they would do that if they were to meet another group of ringtails out in the wild. They'll all do that, and they'll have what's known as a stink fight, where they waft their smell at each other, and the smelliest group wins.
Yeah, but how do the females dominate?
How do the females dominate the males?
Yeah, that's
generally not so much with scent, just with almost like aggression.
just arrogance, really.
Yeah, so she will just chase him off, and she will tell him no, and that's kind of the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Even the youngsters from last year will take his food from him and chase him off, things like that. So, yeah, so it's not so much with scent that they actually dominate them. They just tell them where to go, really.
Yeah. Pumpkin.
Yes, we were feeding the others sweet potato earlier.
Yeah. Oh, you're getting licked.
This is what I like.
Careful you don't bite you.
Please don't get bitten.
No. I've got it on camera if we did.
Yeah. Like, it's not my fault.
Look, I decided
This is a disclaimer.
Yeah. Do they get fed the whole thing?
Yeah, so they have a couple feeds a day. We can just scatter this around. We haven't got no sweet potato in this one. Darling, I apologise.
Oh, that's their
He's
favourite.
like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How bloody dare you? That's it, that one doesn't want to know. She's gone back in.
Yeah, no.
You can tell they're a bit spoiled, can't you? What we can do with it is you just chuck it across the enclosure and they'll scatter it around. It's good for them to forage in here, because whilst they're in the holding, it's nice to give them lots of stimulation, because they are a social species, and they need to sort of work for their food as well. So types of enrichment we do with these, because these guys, I'm sure you were told earlier in the primates, they rely heavily on scent for communication. So we do things like fruit teas, dilute them down and spread the tea over different branches to create like different scents.
Oh, cool.
We also use different herbs and things like that, just to keep them guessing and saying, oh, what's this new scent, and just gives them that much more exercise and stimulation. These guys will scent mark any new scent because it's their house and it should be their smell across everything. So it's not uncommon for you to see them doing sort of a backwards handstand up the vein because they've got a scent gland just by their bums, and they're often rubbing them. They also, I'm sure you were told, they also have the scent gland in their wrist, and they'll rub their tails between it and stink it over. Oh, you don't want to eat that.